Welcome to today's lesson. The subject is advanced taxation. We've been studying the professional tax practice. Today we're going to learn how to handle client work, the handling of client work. The topic is professional practice in taxation. Now, candidates handling client work in professional tax practice involves several critical steps. It involves several critical procedures, and the purpose for such procedures is to ensure accuracy, compliance, and effective client service. So we will be studying or identifying, we are going to identify the critical steps handling client work. How do you handle client work? The first critical step is first and foremost to understand client needs. Understanding of client need. Before you handle client work, it's important to first of all understand the client needs. Understand the client needs. As a professional, a tax professional, first of all, you ought to understand the client needs, and that can be made possible by gathering comprehensive information about the client's tax situation, the financial status of the client, the objectives of the client, and the specific needs of the client. Then, as part of understanding the client needs, the tax professional should also understand the scope of work required and any particular challenges or complexities involved in handling the client's work. Gather comprehensive information. Gather comprehensive information. It is on the basis of the information gathered that the tax professional can understand the client's needs. Understand the scope. Understand the client's scope of work. Number two is documentation and record keeping. One way to handle clients' work is through documentation and record keeping. Documentation and record keeping. Maintain organized and detailed records. Maintain organized and detailed documents. All right? Maintain organized and detailed documentation of the client's information, of the client's correspondence, of the client's agreements, of the client's tax-related documents. Keep accurate records. Keep accurate records. That's another way of handling clients' work. Keep accurate records of the client communications, the advices given. Keep records of advice you give to the client. Keep a record of all the decisions made during the engagement. Handling of client work. 3, compliance and deadline management. Compliance and deadline management. Ensure adherence to tax compliance requirements, including filing deadlines, right? The tax payments and regulatory obligations, compliance and deadline management. Ensure adherence to tax compliance requirements, including filing deadlines. The tax professional should also establish a system to track deadlines and important dates in order to prevent any lapses in compliance. There ought to be a system to maintain deadlines. You understand? Compliance and deadline management. Adherence to compliance requirements. Adherence to compliance requirements. That's one aspect of compliance. Then I've also said that the tax professional should establish a system of tracking deadlines. System of tracking deadlines, because failure to meet deadlines can attract penalties. So when handling a client work, make sure that there is in place a system to help you track deadlines, tax deadlines. Risk assessment and mitigation, number 4. Risk assessment and mitigation. Risk assessment and mitigation. Risk assessment and ensure, or we can say conduct thorough assessment of the client's risk situation in order to identify potential areas of concern. Identify potential areas of concern. Assess the risk situation in order to identify areas of concern. Then implement strategies to mitigate risks. To mitigate risks. Implement strategies to mitigate risks and address any compliance issues that may arise. Quality assurance, number 5. Quality assurance. That's another way to handle a client's work. Quality assurance and accuracy. Maintain high standards of accuracy. When handling clients' work, maintain high standards of accuracy. Maintain high standards of accuracy. And this accuracy should be in terms of, or when calculating tax, okay, high standards of accuracy in tax calculations, in documentation, and reporting in order to ensure compliance with tax laws and regulations. When handling clients' work, the tax professional may also establish internal quality assurance processes. Internal quality assurance processes. Establish internal quality assurance processes. The purpose for these processes, quality assurance processes, is to ensure or to review work, before submission to clients or to authorities, to tax authorities. So there ought to be established internal quality assurance processes so that the work that the tax professional does is subjected to review before submission to tax authorities. Internal quality assurance processes. Number 6, client communication and updates. As a tax professional, you are required to maintain regular and clear communication with clients. Regular and clear communication. Maintain regular and clear communication. Maintain regular and clear communication with the client, providing updates on the progress of work or progress on tax matters and any developments. All right? Communication. Then there is updates. Respond promptly to client inquiries. Respond promptly. Respond as a tax professional. Respond promptly to a client's inquiries, providing accurate and comprehensive information. Make sure you provide comprehensive and accurate information. That's how to handle client work. Then there are also ethical considerations when handling clients' work. Ethical considerations. What are the ethical considerations when handling clients' work? Number 1 is to adhere to professional ethics. Adhere to professional ethics. Adhere to professional ethics, maintaining confidentiality, integrity, and objectivity in handling clear information and any matters. When handling client information, make sure you adhere to, you maintain confidentiality, maintain integrity in handling client information and client's tax matters. Avoid conflicts of interest. When handling clients' work, avoid conflicts of interest. As a tax professional, you ought to avoid conflicts of interest and ensure that all decisions and advices are in the client's best interest. The interest of the client should at all times override your own interest as a tax professional. Avoid conflicts of interest. Number 8, consultation and collaboration. Consultation and collaboration. Engage in consultations with the specialists. Engage in consultations with experts within the firm as well as externally if necessary to address complex tax issues or unique client situations. So when handling client work as a tax professional and you come across issues or matters that are beyond your comprehension, matters that you cannot handle as an individual, then you ought to collaborate. You ought to consult with other tax experts so that your client's work is handled professionally. Consultation and collaboration. Consult with specialists and experts. Specialists and experts. We always say no one has monopoly of knowledge. So when you come across issues that you may need assistance, consult, collaborate. Collaborate with other professionals. Collaborate with other professionals. Other professionals. Collaborate with other professionals when handling clients' work. The issues that you are dealing with, they could have been dealt with other professionals. So you may benefit by collaborating with other professionals such as lawyers or financial advisors when needed to provide holistic advice to the client. Number 9, I'm moving to page number 3. Page number 3, point number 9. We are discussing how to handle clients' work. As a tax professional, how do you handle clients' work? Number 9 is client education. Client education. There is a point on client education and guidance. Client education and guidance. Educate clients about tax implications. Educate clients about changes in tax laws and options available to optimize their tax situation. When handling client work, educate the client about tax implications, educate the client about changes in tax laws, don't be too mean. No, when the laws change, don't wait for the client to ask the implications of the changes in tax laws. No, provide education. Advise the client on options available to optimize their tax situations and so on. Provide guidance and recommendations aligned with the client's goals and risk tolerance. Client education and guidance. Then lastly, documentation. When handling client work, documentation is very important. Documentation and closure. Very important. Ensure all work is accurately documented. Ensure all work is accurately documented. Ensure all work is accurately documented and all required filings, reports, or submissions are completed and submitted on time. Then you also ought to document closure of the engagement. Document closure of the engagement. Document closure of the engagement with the client, including final reports, include summaries, and even follow-up actions or recommendations for the client. So these are 10 points on how to handle a client work as a tax professional. How do you handle client work? And candidates, handling client work in taxation requires meticulous attention to detail. It requires compliance with regulations. It requires clear communication It also requires ethical conduct in order to deliver quality services and also to meet client objectives effectively. 10 points. 1, understanding clients' needs. Number 2, documenting and record keeping. 3, compliance and deadline management. 4, risk assessment and mitigation. 5, quality assurance standards. 6, client communication and updates. 7, ethical considerations. Number 8, consultation and collaboration. Number 9, when handling clients' work, make sure you educate the client and give guidance on tax implications, changes in laws, and so on. Then lastly, you are required to accurately document the client's work and also document closure of the engagement. Thank you for attending the lesson. I'm going to give you revision questions. Number 1, how do tax professionals prioritize and manage multiple clients' workloads effectively? What strategies are employed to ensure timely and accurate deliverables? Number 2, what quality control or assurance mechanisms do tax practitioners implement to ensure accuracy and completeness in their work for clients? Question 3, how do tax professionals collaborate with clients during the handling of their work? How is client feedback integrated to improve service delivery? Number 4, what risk management protocols are in place while handling client work to mitigate errors, compliance issues, or potential conflicts of interest? So that is your assignment. Thank you for attending the lesson. In our next session, we'll continue to study professional practice in taxation. Bye.